Hello there, everybody, and welcome. My name is Tamir Moore, and welcome to the latest episode here on my YouTube channel. Also, I will invite you to follow me on social media as I often post there a lot. You can check out the links to my Twitter and Instagram profiles on this intro screen. And one last quick thing, you can check out my latest video by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And now it is time to start today's featured episode. And now, here is Tamir Moore with this week's live on tape filming of What You Need to Know. Hi again, everyone. Happy New Year to everybody out there, and welcome to the first episode of 2026 of What You Need to Know. This is episode 15. This is week 18 of the 2025 regular season. We have a matchup in the NFC East today to conclude the 106th regular season in the NFL as the 7-8-1 Dallas Cowboys take on the 3-13 New York Giants. And with that, we welcome you inside the studio and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Tamir Moore. I hope you had a great New Year out there. It's great to have you with us here for this week's episode of the show. This is episode 15. This is our last regular season episode. A quick reminder, if you have missed any of the first 14 episodes of What You Need to Know, you can check out any of our previous 14 episodes in the description below this video. So make sure you check that out once you're finished here. We got the Cowboys and the Giants here in week 18. Obviously, this is a meaningless game for both of these teams. Both of these teams have been eliminated from the playoff picture, but we are here to cover the game nonetheless, as two teams are trying to end the year with something positive to build off of heading into next season in 2026. Before we begin, some housekeeping items to take care of as per usual. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of all of our newest content. We post every single week about the NFL with what you need to know. So if you like football and you like to hear us talk about it and tell you everything about the game, then this is definitely the place for you to be. I appreciate your support. I appreciate the subscriptions as well, as we try to grow the Tamir Moore YouTube channel into a place to talk about basically anything and anything out there. Let me also say this to you. There will be a special video on the channel coming up in the next few weeks as I plan to recap what we have done here last year in 2025 and some things that we will be doing in 2026. Let me give you guys a brief summary of what that video is going to be about. We will continue to do what you need to know throughout the rest of this season. So we'll do the 4 playoff games, the wild card round next week, the divisional round, the NFC Championship, and eventually Super Bowl 60. And of course, we'll be back for season 2 of What You Need to Know in September. During the spring and summer, though, this YouTube channel will be full of content. I'm excited to announce that there'll be some special things going on here on this YouTube channel during the NFL all season. I'm not going to spill the beans too much here, but I will discuss that in further detail for the video that we'll be doing, Tamir channel update. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I will certainly let you guys know when that episode will drop. It will be a long form video, won't be super long, about maybe 15-20 minutes, just to hit on some things. So that's something that should pique your interest as we go forward here. And of course, we are at 58 subscribers the last time I checked. I appreciate our subscriber number is starting to grow. 7 months ago, we only had 50 subscribers on the channel back then. We've added 8 new subscribers over the past 7 months, and hopefully we can add more. The goal for this channel is to have 100 subscribers by the end of this year. We previously had a goal of 100 subscribers by the end of 2025. Obviously, that didn't pan out, but we have a brand new year here, and we have plenty of time to get 42 additional subscribers, and especially with the additional content that will be coming on YouTube this year, barring something crazy. I expect us to get to 100 subscribers. So thanks in advance for joining us here today. Liking, subscribing, sharing the show with your family and friends, sharing this channel, helping me and helping us grow here on YouTube. And with that, let's get into it. We have 3 sections for you today. We start off with the reference notes as per usual. We'll get into the injury report. We will detail for you guys who is playing, who is not playing in this regular season finale. And we will then go into the game capsule to get further into the game. This is the Cowboys versus Giants pregame show, essentially, with discussion and analysis. And I look forward to sharing this journey with you guys to get you ready for this Week 18 Cowboys Giants game. Let's start off with section 1, the reference notes. The 2025 season ends on Sunday for the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants here at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Dallas Cowboys come into this Week 18 game with a record of 7-8-1. It has been a very emotional year for the Cowboys, to say the least. Back in early November, their second-year defensive end, Marshawn Nealon, tragically took his own life back on November 6th. That sent shockwaves throughout the NFL community and the Dallas Cowboys organization. If you or someone that you know is suffering an episode of mental health, is having some issues with mental health, I should say, there is help available. Please do not wait until it's too late. Please type this into your phone or write this down somewhere on a notepad, on your computer, or some notes that you keep around at home. This is the free digit number that everybody should have available to them. 988. That is the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. There are operators there that are willing to help you and your friends out as well. So please use that resource. We do not want to see anything close to what the Marshawn Nealon situation was for the Dallas Cowboys. Since then, they paid tribute to Marshawn Nealon by bringing out a flag with his name and 94 number around at all the Cowboys games, home and away. And Marshawn Nealon will be very proud of how the Cowboys have been able to handle themselves in the wake of this unspeakable tragedy. Following a free 5-1 start, as we segue back into the Cowboys on-field play now, the Dallas Cowboys, it seemed like the Dallas Cowboys were going to go on a roll. They won 3 straight games, including wins over Kansas City and Philadelphia in less than a week. And then the Cowboys dropped 3 straight games before last week's win against Washington by a final score of 30-23 on Christmas Day. The Cowboys trying to end the year with a 500 record, which is a miracle considering everything that they've been through. As for the New York Giants, they come in with an abysmal 3-13 record, another long season for the Giants and their fans. The Giants started the season with a 0-3 record this season. Lost week 1 against the Commanders, lost week 2 against the Dallas Cowboys, 40-37. That was that crazy wild game in Arlington that went to overtime, and then lost to Kansas City and Sunday Night Football in week 3. And then Jackson Dart comes in, the rookie out of Ole Miss, gets the starting job after Russell Wilson started the year, got benched after the first 3 games. Jackson Dart comes in. Giants, they look like they turned a corner, right, in the early part of the year with wins over the LA Chargers and the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football in week 6. The Giants were 2-4 at one point, and then the bottom completely falls out. The Giants lose 9 straight games prior to last week's dominant win in Las Vegas by a final score of 31-14. And it's been a really trying year for the Giants, right? After the Giants lost in week 10, head coach Brian Daboll was fired and replaced by interim head coach Mike Kafka, who finally got his first win as the Giants interim head coach last week in Las Vegas against the Raiders. Also, defensive coordinator Shane Bolin was also fired in November as well and replaced with Charlie Bullen. So the Giants, like we said before, there's been a lot of moving pieces in and out, and the Giants are trying to end the year with back-to-back wins for the first time all season. So that'll be good for the Giants to end this disastrous season with a 2-game winning streak, try to build something for 2026. And by the way, this is not the first time that we've covered these 2 teams on this show this year. We have covered the Cowboys previously on 3 separate occasions on this show. The first time we covered the Cowboys was back in week 3, the road game against the Chicago Bears. To learn more information about that, please click the card in the upper right corner. Then 4 weeks later, we covered the Cowboys' home game against the Washington Commanders. If you'd like to hear me talk more about that game and hear some discussion analysis previewing Washington versus Dallas back in Week 7, again, please refer to the card in the upper right corner or in the show description below. And then most recently, we covered the Cowboys in Week 12 against the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions. That was a game with Dallas trailed 21-0, scored 24 answer points to win. To learn more about that game, again, card in the upper right corner or in the description below. This is the third time that we've done the Giants game for what you need to know. We covered the Giants twice on this show before. We covered the Giants back in Week 1. We ended our regular season this year with the New York Giants, ironically enough. We started what you need to know 15 shows ago with the Giants with their Week 1 game against Washington. If you missed that episode and you'd like to watch it now, then please click the card in the upper right corner. And then in Week 11, we covered the Giants against the Green Bay Packers. That was the first game that Mike Kapka was the interim coach for after Dable was fired. To learn more about the Giants-Packers game, then please click the card in the upper right corner or in the description of the show below. And a reminder that last week here, we covered a really fantastic Week 17 matchup. The Philadelphia Eagles and Saquon Barkley against Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, and the Buffalo Bills. If you missed last week's show and would like to watch it for yourself now, please click the card in the upper right corner or in the description below. All right, give me 1 second. I just want to verify something real quickly about Charlie Bullen, the Giant DC, after Shane Bullen was fired. Just want to make sure I got that correct. Let's see here. Yep. DC, Charlie Bullen. That's right. Yes. Because I watch Hard Knocks, right? As many people may know, Hard Knocks on HBO profiles the NFC East. I watch that show every single week, and I enjoy learning about the NFC East, including these two teams. I've been following up with the Cowboys and Giants, and these two teams have been featured on Hard Knocks in more recent weeks. All right, that takes care of section 1. We are officially off and running now. All right, let's move on to section 2, the injury report. There are a lot of injuries, notable ones to tell you about entering this Week 18 contest today. Let's start with the road team, the Dallas Cowboys. There are several players for Dallas that are key players who will not play today in this regular season finale. Let's start with Devontae Williams, the 12,000-yard runner for the Cowboys this season. Neck, shoulder injury for Javonte. He did not practice in all this week. He's out for this game, so he's going to sit out. So that's unfortunate for Javonte. That's a big loss because Devontae Williams had a big year, so that's a big loss for the Dallas Cowboys right there. Linebacker Demarion Obershone has a concussion. He was limited in practice on Wednesday and Thursday. He did not participate on Friday. He is out for this game, so that's a big loss for Dallas on the defensive side. Cowboys cornerback Shavon Rebel has been dealing with a concussion/neck injury. He was not a participant in any of the Cowboys practices, out for this game. Cowboys guard TJ Bass has been dealing with a knee injury, did not participate in practice this week, out for the game. Malik Davis, the backup running back, has been dealing with a calf/eye injury, no practice form this week at all, out for this game. So the Cowboys will be without their top 2 running backs in this game. They're going to be missing one of their offensive linemen. They're going to be missing a couple of key defensive players as well. So the Cowboys are going to be very short-handed in this game against the Giants. There's some more players on the Cowboys injury report that have no injury status whatsoever. Let's start with defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, former Jet. The Cowboys, of course, made the midseason trade to get him in here. And Quinnen has been dealing with a neck injury. He was a full participant in practice all week, good to go for the game. Cowboys safety Donovan Wilson has been dealing with a hip injury, full participant in practice this week. He's scheduled to play today. Cowboys wide receiver Kamonte Turpin has been dealing with a shoulder/foot injury, full participant in practice all week. He's expected to play. Kenny Clark, the former Packer, part of the Micah Parsons trade that really shook the lead off in preseason, he has been dealing with a hand injury. He was a full participant this week, so no issues whatsoever with that hand injury impacting his practice schedule. He's expected to play today. Cowboys guard Tyler Booker dealing with an ankle injury. He was able to give it a full go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the Cowboys practices. No injury status at all. Fellow guard of the Cowboys, Tyler Smith, and dealing with a knee injury. He was limited to start the week, but his participation started to increase as the week went on. Full participant on New Year's Day and Friday. No injury status whatsoever. Let's flip it over and let's talk about the Giants. Several key players for the Giants are out today. Wan'Dale Robinson, who put up 1,000 yards for the first time in his NFL career. We'll talk about Wan'Dale a little bit more later. He has been dealing with a rib injury. He did not practice this week for the Giants. He's out for this game, so he'll sit this one out. Giants defensive lineman Raheem Nunez-Roches has been dealing with an ankle/toe injury. He was limited in practice on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Did not participate on Friday. Out for the game today. Evan Neal, Giants offensive lineman, have been dealing with a neck injury. No participation in the Giants practices this week. Out for the game. And then the Giants will be out a couple key guys in their secondary. Cornerback Cordell Flott, been dealing with a knee injury. Did not participate in practice. Out for the game. And Giants safety Javon Holland have been dealing with a knee/concussion. Did not participate. Out for this game. Couple other notable players in the Giants injury report that have no injury status include the rookie out of Penn State, the number 3 overall pick, Abdul Carter, has been sick. He did not participate Wednesday, Thursday. He did participate on Friday in limited fashion. No injury status. Abdul Carter is a guy that they really like. They're really high on this young man. Sexy Dexy, otherwise known as Dexter Lawrence, Giants defensive lineman, also sick. He did not participate on Thursday and Friday, but he's expected to play. You can tell the injury bug is starting to make his way around the NFL. And then finally, Giants defensive lineman Roy Robertson-Harris has been dealing with a knee injury. Limited participant in the Giants practices Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And he has no injury status whatsoever. Before we continue, let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture. Obviously, this is a meaningless game and pretty irrelevant for the two teams playing in this game. But let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture entering the final week of the season to see where the NFC is. Of course, Sam Darnold and the Seahawks lead the NFC with a 13-3 record, have a pivotal Saturday night game against the San Francisco 49ers. The winner gets the number 1 seed, win the NFC West. The loser is a wild card, have to play next weekend. And then the number 2 seed are Caleb Williams and the 11-5 Chicago Bears. The number 3 seed is Devontae Smith, and the number 3 seed is the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, who also have 11-5 record, just like Chicago. Chicago beat Philadelphia in Week 13, so that's why the Bears are 2 and the Eagles are 3. Chicago and Philadelphia fighting for seeding. If the Eagles win and the Bears lose this weekend, then the Philadelphia Eagles will be the number 2 seed. If Chicago wins, Chicago will be 2, and then Philadelphia will then be locked into the number 3 seed. The number 4 seed right now is Bryce Young in the 8-8 Carolina Panthers. Panthers play on Saturday at Tampa Bay. If Carolina wins, they win the NFC South. If Carolina loses, then they need to root for the Atlanta Falcons and Bijan Robinson on Sunday. They host the Saints. If Carolina loses and Atlanta wins, that will get Carolina in. If Carolina loses, Tampa Bay wins. And if New Orleans beats Atlanta Sunday, Tampa Bay gets in instead. So the NFC South still up for grabs between Tampa Bay and Carolina. And Atlanta winning last week on Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Rams has opened up a can of worms. We could have a three-way tie between Tampa, Atlanta, and Carolina at 8-9. The Falcons are out, but the Falcons have a chance to throw a monkey wrench in the plan in the NFC South. The NFC South winner will be the number 4 seed and will hold a wild card playoff game. The 49ers are the number 5 seed at 12-4. The Rams are the 6th seed at 11-5. The Rams are fighting for seeding in the wild card. The Rams, of course, cannot win the division anymore. And then Green Bay, of course, 9-6-1. Josh Jacobs, Romeo Doubs, Dontamian Wicks, Christian Watson, they are locked into that 7th seed. The Packers will play at Minnesota. So the Packers game with the Vikings means absolutely nothing. Green Bay's locked into the 7th seed regardless of what happens. So, yeah, man, we got some fun races still to watch in the NFC as the NFC playoff picture will be finalized by the end of the week. Cannot wait to see what the final NFC bracket looks like, to see which 7 teams will be in the tournament with a chance to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl in February in Santa Clara. Okay, it is time now to take a look at today's game capsule. This is the game capsule that we work on throughout the course of the week. As you know, I take my preparation very seriously. As you can see, these are notes that I've typed up on the computer, printed them out, and we'll be talking through during the course of this program. I really enjoy preparing for games, sitting here with this microphone in hand, talking about football with you guys. And this is a little note to any of you out there like me who are autistic. If you want to express yourselves, then starting and maintaining a YouTube channel is a good way for you to do that. I started on YouTube when I was 14, 15 years old. I wasn't very good at the time. My camera skills were off. I hummed, I stumbled over my words, but more experience holding a microphone, being in front of the camera, getting a chance to write, produce, and host shows like this. You get an opportunity to show people that you are talented and you are able to function in a world that communication is such an important skill. Folks, I literally went to school for communications, a proud graduate of Delaware County Community College back in 2022 with a associate degree in communication/journalism. And people realize that new media is better than traditional media, right? New media, you can be your own boss, you can set your own schedule, you do not have to be confined to rules and regulation that traditional media sets up for you. So that's a word of advice I just want to offer out there to anybody like me who wants to get into this field of communication/journalism. If you put in the work, you put in the time, I promise you, you will be successful. Just wanted to share a little Tamir talk with you guys. That's what I'm going to call that. A little Tamir talk, a little word of advice. Hope you all appreciate that. And hope I see more people with autism do something that I do now. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you guys for listening. All right, let's get back into the game capsule. Cowboys Giants. This is one of pride for these two teams here in week 18. And for the game capsule this week, we're going to do something a little different. Normally, we dig into the news and notes from the team, their previous game. We're not going to do that for this week. We're going to get grades for the two teams coming into this regular season finale, and then we will explain why. We'll divulge into that and see why a team got graded the way that they did. We have 21 keys for this, and then we'll have some final commentary at the end of it. So let's get started. Right now, the Dallas Cowboys currently have the number 14 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Cowboys look to finish the regular season on a 2-game winning streak. As for the Giants, they have the number 2 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. If the Giants win this game today, Las Vegas gets the number 1 overall pick. Remember, the Giants crushed the Raiders last week at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. However, if the Giants lose and if the Raiders beat the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend, the Giants then will get the number 1 overall pick, because if the Giants and Raiders both finish 3-14, the Giants get the head-to-head tiebreaker, obviously, so that's very important. All right, let's get into the keys. Key number 1, we're giving grades out here, and Dak Prescott, obviously, we're giving Dak a really excellent grade for his performance this year. You look at Dak Prescott, 10th year quarterback out of Mississippi State. This is key number 1. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott 2025. Dak had a really great year for Dallas this year. 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 280 yards per game, was his first in the NFL. He gets an A. And there's no question about it. Dak Prescott deserved the A. Dak Prescott put his team in position to win. Unfortunately, the defense kind of let him down a little bit. You can't blame Dak Prescott. It wasn't his fault that the Cowboys were 7-8-1. He did everything he could this year for the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately, it simply wasn't enough. The defense let him down, and the offense was chasing, and that's why the Dallas Cowboys are playing their final game of 2025. And this is their last game for quite some time until the fall of next year. Key number 2, We're going to give A's out again. Let's talk about the Cowboys offense in totality now. 28.4 points per game, which is fourth in the NFL. 398.6 yards per game, which is first in the NFL. A minus grade there. The Cowboys, they had a really excellent offense this year. They could compete with any other team in the National Football League. The Dallas offense, you enjoy watching them work. The Dallas Cowboys, man, they put up points on the board. That Prescott was confident slinging that football around. So A's to the offense, to Prescott, and for key number 3, another A is coming. Let's talk about first year Cowboys receiver George Pickens coming over from Pittsburgh. What a great first season George Pickens had at the Dallas Cowboy. 92 receptions for 1420 yards and 9 touchdowns. A career season for Pickens in a lot of ways. He certainly made the most of his opportunities in his first year with the Dallas Cowboys. George Pickens gets an A+. He excelled for the Cowboys. His first season in Dallas could not go any better for George Pickens. Key number 4, Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb 2025. Remember, CeeDee Lamb missed some time on injury. He did play in 13 games, 74 receptions, 1,073 yards, 3 touchdowns. We give him a B+. CeeDee Lamb, though, give him credit. He got 1,000 yards for the 5th year in a row. That's really hard to do, to be a wide receiver in the NFL and get 1,000 yards 5 straight years. CeeDee Lamb was able to do that, so you give CeeDee a ton of credit for that. Key number 5, Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson in 2025. 81 receptions, 595 yards, and 8 touchdowns. We give him a B+. A solid year for Jake Ferguson, all things considered. You gotta give Jake Ferguson credit. He did his job, and he did it rather well. And most often times than not, you found Jake Ferguson catching a pass in the end zone for a touchdown. Key number 6, the Cowboys keys were on. Let's talk about the 12,000-yard rusher himself, Javonte Williams, the former North Carolina Tar Heel Denver Bronco. As we mentioned earlier, Javonte Williams is out for this game today, but Javonte Williams, that injury does not take away from the great season that he put together for head coach Brian Schottenheimer and the Dallas Cowboys. 1,201 yards for Javonte this season, 4.8 yards per carry, and 11 touchdowns. We give Javonte an A, man. He had a really super season for Dallas. A career best for him in yards per carry, and touchdowns. Key number 7, Cowboys offensive line in 2025. 31 sacks, tied for 10th in the NFL. 4.9 sack percentage, which is 6th in the NFL. We'll give the Cowboys offensive line a B+. Terrence Steele did allow 9 sacks on the season, and the Cowboys offensive line basically allowed 2 sacks per game, basically. Key number 8, Giants rush defense 2025. It's not very good, folks. 5.3 yards per carry, which is last in the NFL. 145.4 yards per game, which is 31st or second to last in the NFL. They get an F. The Giants rush defense sucked. Okay? One of the big reasons why the Giants lost a lot because they couldn't stop opposing running backs. Opposing running backs slash and gush right through the rushing defense. It's like the Giants' rush defense was basically non-existent. It didn't show up. Key number 9, Giants pass rush in 2025. 39 sacks. Don't know why it says tax right here. Don't know why it says tax, but it should be sacks. 39 sacks, tied for 14th in the NFL. 91 QB hits, tied for 11th in the NFL. We'll give the Giants a C. We'll give them an average grade. At least Brian Burns is a high for the Giant defense. The defensive end formerly, I should say, erstwhile, the Carolina Panthers. What a year Brian Burns had. He's putting together a Pro Bowl type season with 16.5 sacks. At least he's there to disrupt the quarterback and get after the play. And Brian Burns having a great year for the Giants, by the way. We put Brian Burns tape on. His play immediately jumped off the tape to you. Key number 10, Giants pass defense in 2025. Rating of 95.9, which is 22nd in the NFL. 7.2 yards per attempt, which is 22nd in the NFL. We'll give them a D+ grade there. At least the Giants play up front helps somewhat limit the damage for the backside. Key number 11, Giants defense in 2025. 26.4 points per game, was a 26th in the NFL. Yards per game, 29th in the NFL, or fourth worst. Will give the Giants defense a D. They had a horrendous year on the defensive side of the ball. Gave up way too many points, too many big plays, and that's one of the principal reasons why the Giants sit with a porous 3-13 record. Giants want their season to mercifully come to an end. One highlight during 2025 was the emergence of Giants rookie quarterback Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. Remember, he got his first start week 4 against the LA Chargers. The Giants won by a final score of 21-18. And unfortunately, that was a game in which Malik Neighbors got injured, got hurt, injured, missed the rest of the season. And of course, Cam Scatterbo, the rookie of Arizona State, got injured 4 weeks later. And the Giants lost in Philadelphia, out for the season as well. Despite all the injuries that Jackson Dart had to deal with to his teammates, the skilled players, Jackson Dart had an excellent first season for the New York Giants. And it seems to me, I'm not sure you guys feel the same way about this, but Jackson Dart seems to be the quarterback of the future for the Giants. Think about Jackson Dart 2025. 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 89.9, 9 rushing touchdowns. We give him an A, man. Jackson Dart had a great rookie season, and he gave Giants fans a reason to hope heading into next season and beyond. Hope I'm not missing a key here. Oh, no, that's key number 12. Okay, good. All right, key number 13. Giants running back Tyrone Tracy Jr. in 2025, 637 yards, 4 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns will give Tyrone a grade of a C or average grade. Remember, Tyrone Tracy was supposed to be the number 2 running back, but because Cam Scatterbo got hurt midway through, Tyrone Tracy got bumped back up to the number 1 running back job. He did okay. He didn't do anything spectacular or anything like that. He was just there and, took advantage of the opportunity that he did see. But a C grade is very appropriate for this player, considering the year that he was going to have and the year he actually having instead. Key number 14. This is Giants receiver Rondell Robinson, who is out today, as we mentioned in this injury report section of this show. Rondell Robinson certainly had a phenomenal season for the Giants. 92 catches, 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, 1,014 to be exact, and 4 touchdowns. Rondell got an increased role with the Giants once Malik Neighbors got injured in week 4 against the Chargers. First 1,000-yard season for this young man, and hopefully next year and moving forward, he can get 1,000 again and keep doing it. Key number 15. Giant tight end Phil Johnson in 2025, the second-year man out of Penn State, showed some growth in his second year in the NFL. 45 receptions, 528 yards, and 5 touchdowns will give him a grade of B-. Rondell Robinson, a grade of B+. Key 16, Giants offense in 2025. This was an issue for the Giants this year. This was a recurring theme for them. Way too many sacks. 44 sacks by the Giants quarterback this year, which was 23rd in the NFL, a grade of a D. Giants offensive line were responsible for 30 of those sacks. Didn't matter. It was Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, or Russell Wilson under center. 44 sacks is way too much, and that's something next year the Giants are going to have to address and clean up. You cannot take 40-plus sacks in a season like they did this year. Final note of the Giants, key number 17. Giants offense in 2025, 21.7 points per game, was the 21st in the NFL, and 330.5 yards per game, which was 15th in the NFL. We'll give the Giants offense for this key a grade of a C. 16 turnover for the Giants, which isn't too bad, or 1 turnover per game. We've seen a lot of teams do worse than that. And the Giants' red zone was not one of their strengths this year. It was a very noticeable, disconcertable weakness. So that's something the Giants are going to have to address in the offseason. You got to get that red zone going for next season. All right, 4 more keys on the Dallas Cowboys. Key number 18, Cowboy defense 2025. Well, you know where we're going, right? With this 29.8 points per game, which is 32nd, which is last in the NFL. Third down defense was third worst in the NFL, was 30th. Their grade is an F, obviously. The Cowboy defense, unfortunately, was the biggest issue for them, in my opinion. If it wasn't for the Cowboys defense giving up explosive plays, giving up points at a high clip, maybe the Dallas Cowboys are still alive for the playoff or are in the playoffs right now. But the Cowboys defense let the offense down. You got to play complementary football. Ron Jaworski, Eagles legend, former quarterback in the NFL, current Eagles analyst on NBC Sports Philadelphia, Ron Jaworski always said you got to play complementary football. And the Cowboys did not play complementary football this year. And that's the reason why the Dallas Cowboys, after this game, are about to pack their bag, go to Cancun, and start their offseason. Next year, the defense has to do better. If the Cowboys offense can do even half the thing they did this year, and we have a semi-competent defense next year, maybe the Dallas Cowboys might be back in the playoffs next year. Who knows? Cowboys pass defense in 2025, this is key 19, rating of 109.7, which is last in the NFL. They gave up 253.6 yards per game, which was also 32nd and last in the NFL. Grade F. Their pass defense got shredded up this year. Key number 20, Cowboys pass rush in 2025, 31 sacks, tied for 23rd in the NFL, 5.6 sack rating, which is 24th in the NFL, a grade of D+. And the final key, Cowboys rush defense in 2025, 4.7 yards per carry, tied for 26 in the NFL, a grade of a D. Okay, with that in mind, I'll give you a quick second to absorb all the information that we've talked about over the past half an hour or so. All right, y'all, let's talk about the final grades, folks, for the Giants and the Cowboys. After examining and researching through the Giants stuff this week, unfortunately, I have to keep it real with you guys. I got to be realistic. Can't be a glass half full type of person. Got to give it to you straight. And I'm giving the Giants a very bad D grade this season. If it wasn't for Jackson Dart having the rookie season that he did and Brian Burns sacking the quarterback and making plays for the defense for the Giants, if it wasn't for Burns' 16 and a half sack, if it wasn't for Jackson Dart giving Giant fans reading the smile, this team will have F. So if you're the New York Giants, at least you had 2 pieces with the bill. But other than that, the Giants were a hot mess in 2025. So a grade of D seems fair for them. And as for the Dallas Cowboys, it's a C, man. If the Dallas Cowboys win this game, you finish the year with a 500 record, which is nothing short of a miracle, considering what they've been through, as I mentioned earlier. An average year. The Michael Parsons trade for Kenny Clark, right? Despite the awful Marshawn Kneeland situation, despite the Quinton Williams, Logan Wilson midseason move, the Dallas Cowboys are an average football team again. And unfortunately, if you're Cowboys fans, I know this is something that you really don't want to hear right now. So if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan watching this episode, I highly recommend you turn off, because this is something that's going to be very unsettling to say, and very disconcerting. But the Dallas Cowboys, their Super Bowl NFC Championship drought is going to extend for the 30th consecutive year in a row. Keep in mind that the Dallas Cowboys have not appeared in an NFC Championship game since 1995. And their last Super Bowl appearance also happened to be in the 1995 season as well. And the Dallas Cowboys are now going to have a 30-year drought of no appearances in the NFC Championship game, no appearances in the Super Bowl either. Wait till next year, Cowboys fans. 2026 might be better for you. Who knows? But if you're a Cowboy fan, this final note is for you. They've beaten the Giants. Dallas has beaten the Giants 9 consecutive times. Has won 16 of the last 17 times that the Cowboys have played the Giants. So the Cowboys have owned this team. Dak Prescott is currently on a 14-game winning streak against the New York Giants, which is the second longest streak by a quarterback in NFL history, only behind Bob Greasy, the Hall of Fame quarterback, who beat the Bills 17 straight times between 1968 and 1979. All right, y'all. That is that. Thank you so much for being here for our first show of 2026. And I wish you guys a happy, safe, blessed, and prosperous new year. And I'm excited to take this YouTube space to somewhere where it has never been before. And I promise you, you will enjoy the content we'll have coming up, especially during the NFL offseason. We'll have some special things coming up in the bag that I'm not going to disclose now, but I will talk about in that Tamir channel report video that will be coming out at some point this year. hopefully in the next month or so we can start to plan out the special things that we have coming down the pike here. But this is the conclusion of episode number 15. Yes, episode 15 of What You Need to Know. Appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you tuning in every single week. I really do appreciate it. Next week, we'll be back with you guys for the NFC Wildcard Playoff game. It will either be Saturday or Sunday. We don't know what game we're doing. We don't know what time the game will be yet. I'll, of course, keep you guys informed about that throughout the course of the week. But we made it through the end of another regular season. Week 18 for 20 teams. The season comes to an end, including these two teams. But for 12 teams, your season will continue into the wild card round. And for 2 teams, you get to the Super Bowl. And eventually for 1 team, you will win the Vince Lombardi Trophy. So until next time, this is Tamir Moore saying thanks so much for joining us for What You Need to Know. We will see you next week for the NFC Wildcard. Playoffs are just around the corner, baby. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the notification bell, do all that stuff. The algorithm really appreciates when you do all those things. Peace. What's up, guys? It's Tamir Moore. I appreciate you for watching today's video, and I look forward to seeing you next time for another YouTube video. In the meanwhile, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out my social media profiles and my YouTube profile, which I provided in this outro screen. So long, everybody, and have a great day.